Round 8 of the season is here, and it's the second time the second tier of RPL is running at Monaco. We had 4 chances to do so at F1.5 and 13 chances to do so in Tier 2, but during this, the 17th chance to run at Monaco, it is only the second time Tier 2 have ran here. And it's going to be a fun one. We'll have to find out if we'll be under the lights. The first time we ran here back in Season 9, just 4 seasons prior, was under the lights. And a lot of these drivers, some were here before during that time, some were not. And it'll be interesting to see how this race goes with that. Some drivers who were back in the league at that time, some who were not. And this should be a fun one, because the championship can be decided tonight. I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, and alongside me later on tonight will be the brand new Tier 3 champion, George Alp-Williams. The Welshman won the championship for the first time. And tonight we could be having JTK win the championship for the first time as well. John does not look like he'll be attending, so basically JTK's scenarios are very small in terms of what he has to do. But there's still Constructors fight to talk about. We will talk about that later on, just with JTK's chances with the championship. I just want to mention this for one moment about JTK. I believe, if I'm correct, and I'm going to double check this at some point. If I can go to the Fun Facts channel, that would be great if it lets me. Nope, it's not letting me. I believe he would be our first Dutch champion. There's not many messages in the Fun Facts channel about the word champion. So let's see. Races as Tier 2 championship leader. Well, I will say he doesn't have the most races as championship leader without a championship, if I'm correct for Tier 2 sakes. But he can get there tonight and then have that kind of wipe it out, with that being said. And we'll see how that goes for him. Leon Miner joining us in chat. Welcome, chat, by the way. It's good to have you here, Leon. One of the only Monaco Grand Prix winners. One of the only drivers to win their only race in RPL and first race at the Monaco GP. It's good to have you guys here. I don't know why drivers keep inviting me. I'm in the lobby. But, yeah, it is very good to be back on comms and back here. Last week, we were at Hungary for Tier 2. And the last 2 weeks have been poor for Ferrari. They were leading the Constructors' Championship by an okay margin. Not too far one, but not too close to one either. 3 points. It's not too close. Depends on this field, though. I guess you can say it's close. But they were leading it. Now they're 48 points behind and in 3rd place. And that's what we're going to talk about. Ferrari have only scored 1 point in the last 2 races. They have Lewis, Piper, and Josh in their cars tonight. Can they recover and can they find some way to get back up? There, we'll find out. Either way, for the sake of last week, let's talk about it with Hungary. Polo guy stayed out in a late restart. It was going to be him versus JTK. JTK got the best of him and held on. And, well, he had Kipu and Samgino to defend off. And it looked like he was maybe not going to do so. And that was our podium. Samgino in 2nd for the 2nd time. Kipu in 3rd for the 2nd time. JTK's 20th Tier 2 podium. Would not be the most before a title won by anybody. Still is drivers who can win Tier 2 titles who have more podiums than he does. Blugagi was one driver close to a podium last week as well. J&T Gaming was in the Ferraris, not anymore. Yeah, we shall see what ends up happening. We have 15 drivers currently in here. We'll let you know on who has what for a qualifying ban or really whatever. But yeah, we shall see. Let's see who's not in here. Therefore, we can get them invites. I think Ardell is looking for one. We'll give him one. That is maybe on me, but that's okay. We'll invite him to the lobby. And we'll invite George to the party because I know George likes to sub the lobby and then, you know. Yeah. So we spoke about last week. We spoke about the constructor standings briefly. Red Bull are leading it over McLaren. That is currently where things stand right there. In terms of this weekend so far, let's go over it. Yesterday we were at Tier 3 in Mexico. Our Gagi to provide heroics in a Sandoval. Well, if this was Gagi about 3 to 4 seasons ago, I think that's very likely. Now, maybe not as much. If he was in Red Bull, maybe, but we'll have to see where he starts in the V-Carb. We'll see if that happens. Can you imagine, Leon, Blugagi's only RPL win comes at Monaco tonight, kind of like yours? Be crazy. Either way, though, speaking of things and whatnot, Tier 3, last night, we had George Alp-Williams win the title, but he did not go 6 in a row. He was looking to go 6 in a row and do something that has not been done in any tier in a very, very long time in RPL. George could have won 6 in a row. Instead, Red Bull have won 7 in a row, I believe. They've been undefeated since the second Tier 3 race, excuse me. That is a crazy stat for them to have. It's crazy that they've been that good. Their car is really second best to McLaren, if you think about it. So it also shows what a poor job, I hate to say it, but what a poor job McLaren have been doing. They really have not been up to it, but hopefully they can figure that out and get somewhere. I would love to see McLaren do well. Look at their drivers for tonight. Kipu and Vodka. I think it's Vodka. Is it Vodka? I think it is, but yeah, shall be great. Vodka is in the McLaren. It would be great to see what they could do. John not here. He is the man second place in the championship. It's really unfortunate. But yeah, for the Tier 3 race yesterday, we had George Alp-Williams finish second or third. I think it was third. All Red Bull Academy podium. It was Red Bull, V-Carb, Red Bull. And Turbo got up there. I know Turbo wasn't talked a lot about. A lot of the commentators focusing on the Mercedes Academy drivers. Lennon coming through the field, of course. He did a great job. Got pole position. Lennon was trying to go 2 for 2 in terms of his Mexico races in RPL. He won the first one he did in the Ferrari. But yeah, our man Lennon is in the Williams tonight. Mercedes last night. Pole last night for him. We'll see if he could get a good starting spot. He won't get pole in the Williams. And as we were saying, we spoke about Red Bull winning 7 in a row now for Tier 2, but we did not speak of the driver who did just that for the team. You had Jordan, who won in Saudi. George won 5 in a row, and then it was Gerard. They called him Juju last night. Gerard, though, won the race ahead of Turbo, and then George finished on the podium to claim the championship for the drivers and the Constructors' Championship as well. And we now have him here. Good to have you, George. I'm glad you're here for Tier 2 Monaco. Only the second time we've ran this circuit in this tier, including off from 0.5.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to Monaco. This is going to be carnage.
It will be, but sometimes that's what makes it fun.
Well, to be fair, you say that. Last time we raced here, I was in the Red Bull with Owen, I believe, and there wasn't a single safety car. So I think, to be fair, people are very aware it is Monaco and the reputation Monaco has. So just naturally take it easier. As I said that, I need to ask him to ready up. Sorry.
I think if it wasn't a safety car, it was a VSC on the start here. I think back in season 9, the only other time we ran this circuit, it was a crash at turn 1 in the midfield. That's something we'll have to watch out for, because even in the Tier 1 race here, remember how DeChiller turned off safety car? You guys in the midfield, it was Owen and DeChiller, and even you got involved in an incident later on in that midfield, but it was lap 1 that was the trouble spot for them. So yeah, we have a lot of talking points for sure, but that is one of them, that this will be a chaotic race, whether it's due to the fact that drivers are making a lot of mistakes or there are safety cars to go with it. And the safety car is on standard, is that correct?
It should be. I think, yeah, okay, it is.
So
yeah, I double-checked it, yeah.
So if there's a DNF, realistically, we're going to get a VSC or safety car with how tight the walls are here, no doubt about it. 17 drivers. George, before we load in, you want to talk about your Tier 3 title, winning that? How do you feel about that before we... Oh, Jake Bandy's left. Before we get any interviews on later tonight for the champions.
I mean, yeah, it was nice to finally wrap it up. I may walk away with a win after this steward report. Depends on what penalties, if I get any penalties for the antics. But I know for certain Gerard is getting a 5 for what he did to Sam. So I think either way...
By the way, for those who don't know.
I think Gerard is losing his win either way, unfortunately for him. So it'd either be me inheriting it or the V-Carb inheriting it. Because I should get my... in a perfect one for me, I'd get my 3-second removed and don't get any penalties. So then I would inherit it. If not, yeah, Turbo would win. As far as
that's crazy.
Yeah, and Real was off him. I think he was P7 on track, or P5 on track. Yeah. Just shows
reminiscent, really, to... Yeah, I mean, that's reminiscent to where I think some people were in races like Vegas in Tier 1 last season, or even Reece Dainty last week in Tier 1 in Canada. He was 6th across the line and finished 2nd, but then 3rd after Josh appealed his 3-second. So you're right. And the race yesterday, honestly, there was a lot of racing. I think Mexico is one of the tracks that doesn't get enough attention for how good it is. I used to hate the track, and now as a commentator, I love watching it all the time. And Jordan Surfs his qualifying band. For those who don't know, we didn't go over that one, but yeah, that is what he's doing.
But yeah, I think in terms of, I know well, a lot of the drivers are very vocal, especially about my driving standards in the race. I think from a exterior perspective, I would say maybe it's not nice to wrap up the title in a hostile manner in that sense, because I know me and Invade have been very polite and friendly both on and off track all season. So in that sense, maybe it was a little bit bittersweet. I can say personally, it was a little bit bittersweet to sort of win it, having frustrated a lot of people during the race. However, I think I definitely stand by my actions. I stand by how I raced. I wouldn't have done it.
Gotta be aggressive sometimes.
I still stand by as well that everything I did, I thoroughly believe I was well within the rules, which is why I did it. So I don't think I'm entitled to any penalties, but obviously we'll see what the stewards say. For anyone curious as well, I am a steward, but obviously I don't have any opinions on any clips that involve me.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
So as I said, I don't think I've done anything wrong. But I think it was just hard racing, championship on the line. I wanted to win it in style, not just settle for a P6 result. But yeah, I think personally as well, Lennon should have won the race. I mean, he was flying in his first day.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sam, go on, pulling down, was also very quick, but he got very unlucky as well.
Invade had a crap setup and still was up there with you guys. I know he was frustrated with that one, but that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had the same setup as him. I think I was on I always do. I always rob his TT setup.
Might handle the Red Bull better.
Yeah, that's what I always do. So because he's always my championship rival, so I always know that either we're both fast or we're both slow. So
yeah, right. Hey, that worked out. And speaking of Ferrari, when you're speaking of championship rivals, George Ferrari, I want you to talk about them. I'm going to put the light on tier 2 if you don't mind for a bit. Josh is in this Ferrari. It's his second tier 2 start. He'll be the first one across the line. But I want to talk about this team with you if you don't mind. They were ahead of Red Bull and McLaren after Spa by 3 points and 11 points. Now they're back in the championship by 48 points. They've scored 1 point the last 2 weeks. That came with Polo God in Silverstone after their horror race. And they still got a point because Kipu's disqualification has finally been put in line. But I think if you're Ferrari here, you must win this race tonight if you want to stay in this constructors fight for the next 2 rounds. You need both cars there. And they have Lewis Piper, who raced in the Season 10 Monaco F1 race. And they have Josh, who was good on the street circuit of Jeddah in F2. So I think that's a good lineup, but they need to do the most with it. Qualifying is key around here, and you know this too. Yeah,
Lewis Piper's a very veteran driver. He was in Tier 1 last season, was one of the top drivers in Tier 1. He seems to struggle with this game a little bit. However, I think the experience he can bring will be massively beneficial for Ferrari at this track. Josh, as well, as you said, he's very new to the tier, so it'll be exciting to see what he can bring to the table. But yeah, I think Ferrari, gloves are off now for them. They have to really get back into this title fight and stomp their authority.
Yeah, and Red Bull have taken advantage, even if they have not always had the second driver there. JTK has been on it, and that's what they need. That's what they needed. McLaren also needed that too for Vodka to go to the top of the board after Kipu's disqualification in Silverstone. If you don't mind speaking about that as well, George, before I get the qualifying laps, we got 13 minutes remaining. With McLaren, they're what 17, 19 points back as JTK goes to the top and McLaren's Kipu goes fourth. I was gonna say how for McLaren's case, really, they do need both cars there because their situation in Silverstone, I mean, obviously Kipu got a podium last week and John's not here and Vodka needs to perform. But for their situation in Silverstone, Kipu was running in a podium place until the drive-through that he got. And then once he got the drive-through, he was put in the back foot. He finished 6th in that race, but he chose to leave the lobby early. And at the time, that was against the rules. That was 8 points that was taken away from them. And those 8 points, with how close this Tier 2 field is, even you know this from how much you lost the title by in Tier 2 a few seasons ago. Those points matter. It was very, and I don't mean to be mean to Kipu in this way, or you in that way, but it was very selfish to leave like that in Silverstone and give up the points for your team. It's good he got the podium back in Hungary, but if they lose this championship by less than 8 points to Red Bull, that won't matter. They'll be looking at him on that. And he's proved himself, saying you put Jordan in the McLaren. That was the wrong choice, but now he needs to be getting the results and help them actually win the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, I think what happened to Kippy at Britain, he was, well, if you think back to the race, he was actually in very close contention for the win, got that drive-through, which was, again, a silly mistake from him. Maybe unlucky. You know how the game can be on a safety car with the... Ardell goes straight on at turn one. He did get wing damage on his lap. He's driving like a bit of a melon at a minute. But go back to Kipu. Yeah, he was very lucky at Silverstone, and yeah, as you said, he did retire or leave the session early, which the whole lobby or whole server were given a message to say that there's a glitch going out. If you leave the lobby before all the competitors cross the line, you can get glitched and they will retire you. So please don't do it. And he did it anyway, took the risk, and he's reaping the rewards, unfortunately. And yeah, as you said, such close margins. It's such close margins in this tier and championship that those 8 points, it could cost them big time. Let's hope not, but you never know.
We've got the JTK fan club in chat. We'll talk about some of the people who have spoken chat tonight and just what you guys think. Get your guys' thoughts ahead of qualifying here. Kipu crosses goes 6th fastest. What were you saying?
Ardell is running a Monza front wing. He has no end plate. What is he doing? Oh
boy. Well, Parc Fermé is off, you said, right? So he can fix that, I think. But if you don't mind, we're going to go over the headlines right now for tonight's event. Ahead of things, JTK next season, George will be moving to Tier 1. I know you were in on that whole deal. Vodka's in McLaren tonight. Josh almost at the wall at turn 1. He's full-time now for Ferrari in this team to finish out the season. Blonde is in the Mercedes tonight. He got a podium 2 seasons ago in Tier 1 here for the first time in that car. What else do we have for different seats in different places? Blugagi's in the V-Carb. J&T is in the Sauber. He is now racing on PC for the first time, so we'll see how he does throughout the event. Lennon, the Tier 3 driver in Williams. His teammate Chaz has not raced since Season 10 France, I think. It's been a long while, but welcome back to Chaz. Ardell in Red Bull for tonight. We got Ichigo, or Ichipurez, as his name shows. He was Ikazuchi in F2. He is in the Sauber for tonight. Robin in the Haas. Jordan with a qualifying ban. And Lewis Piper starts his lap. George, he is reserving in the Ferrari tonight. There were some arguments in Austria, maybe about the fact that he might be in a tier too fast, or he might be in a tier he's too fast for. But maybe tonight will be the case to either dismiss that rumor or prove that. How about you take us through this, George? I know you finished on the podium, I believe, here back in Season 9. A lot of traffic.
Yeah, he's got a lot of traffic, which is going to massively hinder his lap from his academy teammate, which, if I was Tadpole, I would be very nasty over that. But here we go. He's let him through eventually. He's missed quite a few apexes. He was quite a scruffy lap. However, if I was him, I would just complete it anyway. He needs to get something on the board here just to ease the pressure. Coming out the tunnel into the chicane, very hard chicane, very easy to rip your front or rear wheel off. He keeps it nice and tidy over the sausage curb. It's a nice clean exit. However, he has yet again got more traffic, which is going to massively hinder him. That is very dangerous.
Wow!
That is disgusting.
Incident! That was the Williams. It was Chaz. And Lewis Piper will have to go again, George. He's got damage. He's going to have to pit, too.
Yeah, that was both the Haas and the Williams there. That was... I know I said at the start of the stream, I didn't actually, I was saying to Jack, actually, the pie before, that as stewards, we were going to be a bit more lenient with regards to blocking and qualifying, because it is Monaco at the end of the day. But I think both those Haas and Williams, they could have done a lot more to get out of the way there.
Redfire Tiger would like an invite to the session. I'll have you handle that one while we talk about... Okay. Okay. I will get him after our Dulles lap here if you don't mind. But I want to talk about the circuit with some of the corner names. Portier right here into the tunnel. Then the Nouvelle chicane coming up. Yeah, I think the Haas is going to get probably, if you want my honest thoughts, a penalty point or two. And then I think the Williams will probably get maybe a few more. Maybe not a qualifying ban, but definitely something. You were speaking about drivers who need times in the...
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah,
That was pretty
it was
disgusting. Just on the racing line, going very slowly
silly.
in the fastest sector on the track.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
He had more time to get out of the way. That's what I
exactly.
think is tough with the circuit. There's going to be traffic regardless, but if you're going so slow and on the racing line, that is very dangerous.
I'd just like to mention as well, you mentioned,
fault, by the way?
About Lewis Piper being maybe too fast on Ferrari. I would just like to add a bit of clarity to that. There used to be a rule, which stated that some drivers were banned from racing in top 5 cars. The likes of Blonde, Lewis Piper as well was one of them. Luke, just to mention a few. However, recently, as admins and owners.
Owen after he was winning a Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
2 seasons
us
ago.
and owners and admins all came to the conclusion that we were going to scrap that rule completely, and just simply, if you're too fast for the tier, ban them from the tier outright. So the likes of Lewis Piper is getting his chance in the Ferrari to see if he is too quick. I believe he'll get that to the end of the season if he's allowed it by Tadpole. Yeah. Luke is being allowed to race in the Mercedes. Just to name a few, maybe Blonde, I'm not sure. But so yeah, just a bit of clarity to all you watching that we're basically
that rule's been scrapped practically.
You either can race in a tier or you can't, and if you can race in all the cars. If not, you can't, basically.
And that's fair. JTK, a few more corners to go. We got Rascast now, and then the final corner for him to negotiate. Almost done on his battery. Here he comes across the line. The championship leader will cross, and will he go pole? He will just miss out on it. So Vodka will currently hold pole position. He's got an invalid lap time here, but we'll look back to him when he does do his lap again. Blonde is up a 10th in the first sector. Not many corners in that first sector, George, but a lot here before you get to the third sector. And a very short track. It's the shortest in terms of kilometers and miles on the Formula 1 calendar. But the Nouvelle Chicane, we've seen incidents in the past here in RPL. Cam DNF'd season 10 of F1.
Ardell is struggling. He really is struggling. He was a second down in the first sector, and he's invalidated his lap again. What is going on there? And you mentioned previously about the constructors' fight. Red Bull can't afford it, especially at this track. They can't afford a bad egg in their performances. Once they have got a healthy lead, they can't afford slip-ups.
Yeah, Blonde is just improving his lap, only just slightly. He stays fourth fastest. C. Davies invalidated here. I don't think track limits will be the biggest thing that we talk about tonight. Obviously, for our qualifying session, it is traffic. Kepu does have damage, which brings me to my next point, George. The walls around here. In Season 9, Tier 2, I remember you and Owen were trying to get around Patrick F1 and even Lando. And that was a tough one to do because this circuit is so tough on the overtakes. We won't see many of them. You're going to have to send it if you do so and make sure you don't hit the next driver. And also, the walls are just so close around here to where we will see drivers probably pick up damage at some point or another.
Strategy is going to be the big thing here. We all know that on this game, the hards that are indestructible, they could probably go the full race distance, to be fair, so it'll be interesting to see. Do people start on the soft tyres? I think we'll get a lot of people. If it was me racing today, I would do 2 runs in qualifying instead of a set of softs for the race. Start on the softs and get a biblical undercut, because track position is king around here. I wonder how many people would do something similar.
I mean, if you were here in Season 9 or at least watched it back, we have a video on the YouTube of it. Skither's pole lap around here was quite insane. He hit the wall twice. If you're going to want to hit the wall, you're going to want to do it in qualifying and get it over with and not have anything really happen besides that. You were speaking about Lewis Piper, George. We'll get to some final laps here in a bit. Therefore, we can both cover them. But Lewis Piper finally got a time on the board. He is 5th fastest. Red Fire Tiger has joined us, but he is late, so I think he'll get a lap in later. And Lennon starts a lap. I'm going to take us through Sector 1. We won't have much time to do so later. Turn 1. I know he's on a cooldown lap, but Turn 1 there. Sandovat. We say no heroics into there if you hear the radios usually. It's true. It's true. Turn 2, there's a little kink. Turn 3, the left, right. This is sort of a chicane, you could say, down to Mirabeau here. I mean, Zakaria and TB had an incident here. It's just, these corners are so tight, George. It seems like as the cars have got bigger, it's going to be harder to overtake around here. It will be based on strategy, no doubt about it, if there's no safety cars.
Yeah, exactly. There's only really 2 or 3 overtaking spots. I think the big thing there with this game, with the way that ERS works, is it's going to be so easy to defend as well. Because ERS is so powerful in this game. Is that a Ferrari on a lap? No, he's Josh on an out lap. Sorry, the Williams let him through, so
we'll get to him after.
He was,
yeah.
he was going
I'll have you cover him.
stonking. He's setting up, though, he'll be the first one to cross the line to start his final run. Going very quickly. He's in a bit of a hurry here. He's got plenty of time to start the lap. I'm not quite sure why he's risking so much, but here we go. Rounding out the last corner to start his lap, using all of his ERS to the line. That's the one thing with Monaco is you can recharge it throughout the lap, so you can be generous. Misses the apex slightly in turn 1, but keeps it all clean, keeps out of the wall. Got a bit of traffic in front of him. This is the risk you have by starting your lap so early. Keeps it all nice and clean. Is this Mercedes going to get the red bleeding going to get out of the way? He does. Bit of a lock up on the front right. Keeps it nice and tidy though. As they run into the hairpin, ties his corner on the calendar. First gear, using the short shift the second. He does. Misses the apex a little bit, not going to lose too much time from that. Gets a nice clean exit though, into the tunnel we go. Got the Aston Martin in front of him. You don't think he'll catch him by the end of the lap, but hopefully the Aston gets out of the way regardless. It's a little bit deep, catch the chicane nicely. They both get out of the way, that's great driving from both of them. To go to the fastest sector on the track, keeps it nice and clean, hits the wall slightly, but I don't think he'll lose too much time. Going to be one of the hardest corners on the track now. Again, touch the wall slightly.
Wow.
On the limit. We love to see it. Goes a little bit deep. Does a Schumacher almost. Through the last corner. Nice tidy lap there. A few mistakes, but I don't think it cost him too much. I didn't see if he was up or not, actually. I was too focused on what you... Yeah.
Oh, he
didn't quite improve.
He didn't get it. Wow. 38 thousandths down. JTK up by 22 thousandths now as he comes through. Now the hairpin. The man looking to win the championship tonight for the first time. His debut in Tier 2 is back at round 8. Back in Season 8.
That was funny enough, first corner.
That's big. That is big for Red Bull in their constructors fight. But for JTK, 5 seasons ago, his first start, round 8. We're at round 8 tonight. And now he's looking, George, for a 10th career pole. If he gets that tonight, it's the record in the tier. And we saw some damage from a car in front of him come flying up into the air. But he's only down by 1,000th. Oh, the Williams is out. That's Chaz right in front of JTK. He had to avoid it. So will that hinder him in his quest for pole? He has 9 poles, tied with Recent Hunted, 2 previous champions of the tier. Can he get pole tonight on the day with the championship? No! He just misses out, but he is on the front row, and Vodka is also down on the time. Blonde is up and still up. Oh, in the wall, Blonde! That's going to ruin it. Blonde will have to stay 4th.
Red Flag Tiger's also on his first lap coming out of the tunnel, going into the chicane. He needs a good time here to make sure. Oh, he's crashed. He's out. He's kicked the barrier.
Oh no!
Front left off. That is a nightmare for him at all the tracks. As Vodka's up by 1.5 tenths, nearly 2 tenths. He has to get into the last sector.
Ardell.
Big slide. He doesn't need any heroics here.
Lyro Fusion puts both Haas's in the top 8. Blue Goggy next. Will he go better? 9th, but only just. Vodka is on pole position,
Piper up by 2.5 tenths.
And will it be enough for maybe 4th? It's not going to be pole unless this last sector was that much of a disaster, but I don't think it will be, George. He's going to go up to 3rd or 4th. It's Vodka on pole for, I believe, the first time. Lewis Piper's 3rd.
Great lap.
He had a lot of time.
And crucially, that's the Ferraris P3 and 4. That's exactly what they needed for qualifying to get their constructors back on track.
Look where the teammates are. Look at that. Kipu 11th, Ardell 12th. Back in the pack, George.
Perfect quality for Ferrari. Vodka is a prime Santa. JTK doing exactly what he needs to do as well, just keeping his nose clean. Front row of the grid, can't really ask too much more of him. But the Ferraris, star of the show for me. Turning up when they needed to.
You say they're star of the show. I want to give some credit to their academy teammates. Fusion is 7th. Robin Brain. He has had a horrid start here in RPL. Really only 1 clean race. And he's 8th place for Haas. George, although we give him a lot of criticism for what has happened before and even in Tier 1, he deserves a lot of credit tonight. Vodka, our 44th different Tier 2 pole sitter, and his first comes on around the streets of Monaco.
Yeah, great result. Of all the tracks to put a good quality performance, the whole Ferrari Academy has really turned up. I wonder as well how much the Hasses will come into play. I wonder if they've been told about the constructors fight and if they need to use a bit of academy games against the Red Bulls and McLarens.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting.
Jake Bandy 9th as well, by the way. Blue Goggy 10th. I want to give some shout outs to them. I mean, Goggy maybe should be a little higher, but he's ahead of Ardell. who is his academy teammate. Jake Bandy, 9th. Don't really remember the Tier 3 race he had yesterday, but I know it wasn't great if he was there. As for Jake Bandy for Alpine, he's been one when he's raced Tier 2 a few times here and there. He has been a star in some way for Alpine. He went the full race practically on intermediate tires back in Silverstone and got a point from it, I believe. So, or 2 points actually because of Kipu's disqualification. So, yeah, we like seeing the drivers who are in awful cars get some good performances in. And, well, although it's only qualifying, George, it's so important around here because that will definitely determine a lot of things around here. 39 laps, the most on the calendar for the season, and we have a championship that could be won tonight as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race, I think. I wonder as well if we'll get any early safety cars. We saw it in the real life Formula One race, didn't we? There's a lap 1 safety car with that huge shunt. Because
season 9 too here in RPL, season 8 too as well.
I think absolutely the hards you would think could almost definitely do the entire race distance. There's no formation lap here, so we're going to go straight into the start. I'll let you cover that. But yeah, we're in for a cracker.
Yeah. So this is only the second Monaco Grand Prix in the whole of Tier 2, including F1.5. The 5 red lights are coming on to kick off a championship decider tonight for the drivers. Lights out, away we go. Crucially, JTK is going to try to cover up the Ferrari, but he's on the inside. Lewis Hamilton ghosted inside of him. A lot of cars ghosting inside one another. Vodka leads this race down to turn 2 and 3. A lot of cars in midfield trading spots. Ardell up to 11. Kipu down to 14th. Some drivers having some horrid starts. Now they got to keep it clean here. Some drivers just getting into accordion style effect. Down here, crash! That's Chaz. He had an absolute shocker in qualifying. And now Ichigo also involved. That's the kick Sauber. I think Kipu's trying to make a move into the hairpin. He's got a car now down his inside. That's red fired. Oh, no, that's Jordan, actually. He had a qualifying ban. These two have come together multiple times. And this is the driver who's getting that McLaren seat next season and the one who would love to say, you've made the wrong decision. But Vodka, the McLaren teammate, does lead this race by 5/10. Oh, off. Blonde has to take the escape road.
Ardell, crucially, he was gapped by DRS. He is struggling. And Jordan's already got a 3 second. I expect that's a straight 3 second. He might get that removed later in the steward's room. But Vodka, can he gap JTK? It seems like JTK is back on terms. And Josh seems to have had a bit of a shocker. Blonde as well, he said, went wide. They've all. Josh is almost in a bit of a no man's land here. Lewis Piper is sticking with the front two though.
Nasty our tires, by the way.
Vodka and JTK have not got much fuel. ERS, sorry, compared to Lewis Piper. It was on a huge slide there, Lewis. Hold on to that, son. Somehow gains time on JTK in the process. He is literally can block. Bit of a train forming behind the Mercedes of Blonde, some would say, which is interesting.
Well, I will say this, if you don't mind. Chaz is out of this race. He retired on lap 1. It's not the first time we've seen Williams drivers into the first 3 or 5 laps of a race retire and give up. Chaz, in his second start, is now 100% on the DNF rate. And Lennon, his teammate, pitted for damage, gone to the hards. Ichigo on the softs now for Sauber. Jordan pitted as well on the mediums. He's the only one with a penalty tonight. And I think that will be crucial because there won't be many drivers picking up penalties. We can see the tires. Red Fire's got a 3 second already. However, here's the positions gained. 6 for Red Fire, 1 for Ardell, 2 for Jordan. Everyone else lost spots. Everyone in the top 10 stayed contempt, George. We have 2 on softs, 2 on hards, the rest of the mediums. And now there's some cars pitting for damage. Ardell and Red Fire. They've come together, it looks like.
The pack seems to be settling down a little bit. There's a few cars pitting for damage. Red Fire changing his wing. As well as Ardell. That is interesting. However, I wouldn't count him out yet. Unless he's on the mediums, I would. He is. So,
but if there's a safety car, though, I mean, still could benefit.
I mean, as things stand, I think I would be. I mean, if you're changing your wing, you're pretty much out. But as Vodka has just about gapped JTK, that's pretty crucial for the constructors' fight. Championship fight is pretty much wrapped up by JTK to his credit.
Yeah.
Lewis Piper, though, he's getting a bit racy. He needs to. He needs to get that Ferrari back on terms in the constructors. That train behind Blonde seems to have stretched out a bit. I wonder if there was a bit of an incident. I'm going to stay on board with them if you want to watch something else, maybe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, You spoke about Ferrari doing well. George, you were a part of the disaster class from Ferrari back in this race in Season 10 F1. Only one car in the points. You had 4 of the 6 Academy cars not finish this race. It was an absolute stinker from them.
Yeah.
And Vodka has gapped JTK.
Yeah, I believe I had a wheel disconnect. There was a camera in the Ferrari. He crashed out in qualifying and the race, I want to say.
Yep. In the same spot, too. It was the Nouvelle chicane. He turned in too early.
It was one of those races where you have to watch behind your hand or behind a pillow. It was oh, what is the Haas doing of Robin? He's gone ghosted, I think. And Jake Bandy's looking to capitalise, trying to overtake through him, but couldn't quite get it done. What it looks like is Robin is struggling a little bit, but Jake Bandy seems to be bumping him in the corner slightly, so it's holding up both of them. As Lero Future has gapped them.
Gaggy was using his overtake down into the chicane as well, and he just had a snap there. Gaggy did as well in the V-carb. If he's not careful, he's going to have Kippu, who's on the mediums, catch those guys. Just want to mention, George, you mentioned the Haas. Fusion on the softs, though. Lewis Piper on the softs. We'll see how that strategy does play out for those guys who won't take those tires long, it looks like. Yeah, Robin is struggling, but just like in Monaco, you know how you can struggle and still hang on. Usually that's the way it might be. C. Davies is closer to the back of Blonde. We'll see if there's a move down into turn 4. That's the most likely place for it to happen. I don't think there's anything coming of it, but I will give C. Davies credit. Him and Sangino, they've really came about here the last few races for the Mercedes Academy, proving their worth as of recent. Whoa, big save! That is a good one from C. Davies. Wow.
I think if I were to lose Piper now, the only thing you really need to be concerned about is where you pit and if you're going to be pitting into traffic, because there is a bit of a train. Nearly a 4 or 5 car train behind that Haas, or including the Haas. You don't really want to come out anywhere near that. So that's something you need to be concerned about. Not quite yet, maybe. I think. Oh, JTK gets a 3.
That is vital. Just remember, George, he doesn't need to win this race or be on the podium to win the title tonight. He really just needs to finish this race, just do his thing and whatever. But Fusion gets a track limit penalty. That's also another driver in the penalty club. This is not good. This is Monaco. You really shouldn't be picking up many penalties. It just shows, although these drivers can't get by the other ones, they're really getting in their heads, and it's working. Here comes Jake Bandy on the main straight. DRS applied. Will we see an overtake down to turn 1? Down to turn 1, they're side by side. Bandy on the outside, and they've come together. It's in the wall for both Robin and Bandy, and Blue Goggy takes advantage.
That was a bit scruffy there. Jake Bandy tried it, and it didn't quite pay off. I'm not sure if the Haas and Robin understood maybe missing his braking point, or if the Alpine of Jake Bandy turned in maybe a little bit too early. Either way, the Haas hasn't got a wing. That's not ideal.
Kippu's got, or not Kippu, Jake Bandy has got damage. He just let Kippu by. I'm sure he'll do his favors on making sure J&T Gaming does not get DRS to Kippu with this damage. It is really easy to cut the swimming pool chicane. I do agree with Tadpole. And just the way the rear slides a lot in this game, George, I think that's really one of the biggest and only places you should be picking up track limit warnings tonight.
Yeah, the Nouvelle chicane and that little chicane after, after the swimming pool chicane in the last sector. Maybe even turn 1 is very easy to cut turn 1. There's 3 corners where they're so enticing because they're so easy to make up a lot of time. So you do get tempted just to cut it a little bit more, and here and there you pick up warnings. And so yeah, definitely at the track where it's so easy to be impatient. I think we will see quite a few track limit penalties, should be told.
It's a long race though.
Yeah, it is a long race. Lewis Piper's tyres aren't falling off, which is something I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised about. Especially the rears, because it's such a traction-heavy track. Doing very well though. Kippu's sticking to the back of Blue Goggy. You would have thought getting past sooner rather than later. Blue Goggy doing very well for his academy, to be fair, in holding the McLaren up. J&T's there or thereabouts. Yeah,
really could. I mean, Ardell's had a stinker.
He really hasn't turned up as of yet. Terrible in qualifying, even worse in the race so far, sorry to say it. Hopefully he comes back later in the race. JTK's almost gapped Lewis Piper. Lewis Piper just hanging on. I think if I was Lewis Piper, as soon as I lose DRS to JTK, that's the lap I pit. He can still get an undercut on Vodka, although I think Vodka may just about have a big enough gap where he can afford to pit a lap later. Even on those mediums. I think the difference between mediums and softs shouldn't really matter. I think we should see them all pit roughly around the same time because track position is so king around this track. As Shaz leaves the session, of course, he crashed on the first, or retired, sorry, on the first lap.
Yeah, he had an oh, I think Gagi just hit the wall. I don't know if he got damage or not. I don't see any, but that's not good because that's caught Kipu up, and he's not really close into Fusion too much. Gagi, maybe he is now. Fusion might have had damage. Does he have damage? No, he doesn't. He's just really struggling, and Kipu does get by Blue Gagi. You saw that happen in the background, but Kipu has underfueled in hopes for a safety car. We're 8 laps in. We've not had any, but the only incident we really had that resulted in anything mechanical was Chaz going to the pits, retiring after his lap 1 incident back in the first sector. You were saying?
Fine, missing a bit of front wing. I was out. That is out. That is even worse for Red Bull. Got to feel for Goggy. I'll be honest.
What happened there?
Got to feel for Goggy. I think people need to stop doubting him. He's done every time I've seen him in the Red Bull, he's done well. And there seems to be a bit of stigmatism around the name Blue Goggy because he has been terrible for so long. But he suddenly turned it around. I think let the man cook, give him his chance, and as we can see, when he didn't trust him, this is what happens. And I'm sorry, Ardell, you have been disgustingly bad today. Shame on you. But
yeah, I feel bad for him though. I mean, I wished Red Bull put him in a track that was better for him because it didn't really seem like this was a track that they should have put him in. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We got Texas and Brazil, which he can prove himself in, maybe in that Red Bull if they put him in. There are drivers pitting, George. This is crucial under this VSC. It's looking like it's going to stay out for quite a bit in comparison to previous ones we've had. Davies, Fusion, Kipu, they get their pit stops out of the way. You spoke about Blue Gagi. I have to give him credit. He really should have been on the podium last week. We're talking about Lennon yesterday in terms of should have won Tier 3. Gagi should have had a podium yesterday, or not yesterday, last week in Tier 2 Hungary. I just think this strategy, though, he could have maybe pitted, maybe gone for a 2-stop here, but I understand with him being on the back foot, similar to how you were yesterday, George, on those hards, you really couldn't pit in this situation.
No, I would just like to say as well, this is crucial again for the constructors, but you are right, the hards, awkward safety cars for me yesterday, but the hards can go very, very long on the game in general. I wonder how long they go on this track, because as I said earlier, it's a very traction-dependent track.
I saw... Yeah, I saw, and Monaco, a former Canadian, well, not former Canadian, fellow Canadian of Ardell, not going to crap on him because this is Monaco. I agree, but this is crucial to the constructors. JTK does need that second car there. We just watched Red Fire pick up a penalty, and I think Jordan did just a moment ago too. I was just going to mention, I'll have to see if there's anything I can see about the type of hard compound that gets ran at this track because I know somewhere in the Ferrari server, someone posted it, and I want to see because if it's like other tracks, this hard can go quite a way. I mean, we're gonna see these guys pit and make it, but if you're someone like Lennon or Red Fire, or I'm trying to think of who else would be in that equation. Not really anyone else. If you pitted that early, that's more of a risk.
An interesting thought. If I'm Josh, the other Ferrari, do you stay out as long as you can on those mediums, and do you hold up Vodka and JTK to really try and bring Lewis Piper? Oh, Japan's out. That should be a safety car. That should be a safety car.
I'm gonna see where he DNF though first.
Not gonna be. It's not gonna be one.
Wow.
Maybe retire on track.
No, these cars stopped. Look at this. Look at where it is. Left side right there. That's where the damage was.
Interesting.
He probably turned in for the inside wall, then went straight to the outside wall. Third car out.
Interesting.
Only a VSC so far.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
But no, I was saying, I wonder if Josh will try and play the team game, try and bring Vodka and JTK back. Out of the race, because Lewis Piper should pit before them. But I think to be fair, if you're Ferrari, your only real concern is constructors, and at the minute they'll be taking a healthy chunk out of McLaren and Red Bull.
Yeah. So this is the same hard tire that's ran at tracks like Australia, Imola, Canada, Hungary. So you can go the rest of the way. You can go the rest of the way if you're on the hards. But similar to how the hards were in Hungary, will they be better later on? I don't know. Track position will be a big thing we talk about. But those guys in the hards should make it to the end. It just depends on what kind of car they're in. If they're in a car like Lennon is in the Williams, you're going to have a tougher time getting to the end. That car does shred tire wear quite a big amount. And Lewis Piper is in.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be able to get a free pit stop out in front of Blue Goggy. I think he should. He should be okay. Yeah, he'll be okay comfortably. That's huge for him, to be fair, because he just needs clean air where he can really put the laps in.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll quite have enough to jump Vodka if Vodka was to pit this lap.
No chance.
Yeah,
It'd have to be through a mistake.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not actually sure if the indicator is faster or not.
I would say it is. I mean, we saw Hungary with Tier 3. I mean, I don't know if you saw at all the race back from my point of view or just the stream, but the back half the field, I know on my teammate Polish Hammer at the time, I pitted 2 laps earlier before him, and I mean, he did have a bad out lap, but if you do, a bad in lap, I should say, bad 2 in laps, and if you do have that, you're going to go back. He was back at like 6 seconds. He was only 2 seconds behind me prior, so it depends on what Vodka's in-laps will be, though. I think Lewis Piper, he's pitting earlier than Vodka, GTK,
Vodka's
and Josh and Blonde will because... Oh, wow, yeah, I'm surprised. They are in, yeah.
I did say, didn't I?
I was going to say, this is early, though, George, because with those... Sorry, I was just going to say, with those tires, though, Lewis was on the softs, Vodka on the mediums.
Yeah, so I did say at the start of the race that even though they're on mediums and softs, I think that they should pit around the same lap because track position is so important. Which we've seen for Vodka, I think that's definitely the correct strategy. Because to be fair, now realistically, he's in the same boat as Lewis. So if a safety car comes out, they both have to pit, and they both have to fit the tyres the same length. So all he's done there is just made sure he can't get undercut.
Hippo, 3-second time penalty. 6 drivers have a track limit penalty this race. Bulgogi is trying to hang on over J&T. These two fought it out back in Japan, back in Qatar. There's tracks all over these two have fought it out. Even for years, they've league raced together. There was a league of mine I had 3 years ago that these two raced out in. Redfire gets another penalty, George. He's on 9 seconds in a span of 13 laps around Monaco. That's quite wild. Yellow flags. Who is that? That's the Haas. Robin.
Straight into the wall, lost his front wing. It won't be a safety car. He's still going. As GTK, I think, is pitting. No, he stays out. He was using a lot of boost that lap. I thought maybe we would see him come in for pits. Excuse me. I was going to say, I wonder if JTK will try and split a strategy. If he'll try something different and go long, maybe wait for a safety car. I wonder if a medium soft is possible. I sort of doubt it. But I wonder if maybe he'll try and extend as long as he can, try and get a safety car. I mean, to be fair, if you look at the gap between...
Doggy in the wall! And J&T Gaming takes advantage. Redfire's out!
Oh, that's huge for JTK. I wonder if he'll go long. Because there's quite a big gap between Lennon and Lewis Piper, and Goggy. So he's got plenty of time to fall into. Will he be able to get back to the pits, though, in time to maximise his VSC?
It cannot be a quick VSC at all. I know there was one in Imola for Tier 3 and even Tier 1 that was quick. We got to make sure this doesn't happen if we want to see JTK pit and win this race. I think Josh and Blonde is a bit more of a question mark here if you're those guys, because I don't think this VSC stays out long enough for them. It's even a question for JTK. 4th DNF, you were saying? George, you were saying? Oh, JTK is coming in, but will this VSC end as soon as he pits? This will help him regardless, but how much will this help him? He was behind Lewis Piper, not Lewis Piper, excuse me, Vodka, but ahead of Lewis Piper. Josh, Lewis Piper's teammate, is in. Give me a number 7 car pitting, and Blonde is in too. So they all make their pit stops before this VSC ends. Vodka's rounding the final corner on the main straight, and this will be a race down to turn 1. This is going to get good. Will it be enough? JTK is the new race leader, and Vodka gets a drive-through penalty. That is big. That ends his hopes for the win, unless there's a safety car.
That's a huge pit stop for JTK. Did Vodka get a drive-through?
Yes. Yes, he did.
No. Exactly
and he's already low on fuel anyway, too. Just keep that in mind for these guys who've underfueled, like Kipu. Vodka's one of them. There might be one more.
That's twice now we've seen McLaren lose out on a race win, or the chance to fight for a race win because of a drive-through. We saw with Kipu in Britain, and now yet again Vodka in Monaco.
This is unfortunate. They did not need this. Kipu's already running outside the points. I know he's pitted already, but it's still outside the points. While there's some who've yet to pit. Yellow flags. That's a Ferrari, I think. Is that Josh? Is that who I think it is? No, that's someone in between them who has hit the wall. And I don't know. That is a lap car. That's the Haas.
I think maybe it was the half slowing down, getting out of the way. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yep, it was.
If for vodka, though, surely
Still,
you try and go as good as you can before serving this VSC, because you want to try if you can. I think it'll be unlikely, but you want to try and see if you can get out in front of that Ferrari, or at least just far in front of that pack as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, an absolute minimum Bulgogi. I'm not sure how much time you lose in the drive-through. It's quite a short pit lane, to be fair.
Without the pit stop, I'm going to assume 16 seconds, maybe? Yeah. I don't know. But also, you have to cut turn 1 anyway, though, too. That's another thing we didn't talk about a lot is Jordan gets Lennon for a place here down in 10th. I was just going to say, you got to be careful not to cross the white line. I think it was somebody did that in Tier 3 back in Texas it was, and got themselves a 5-second or 10-second penalty, excuse me, for it. It was either Tier 3 Texas or Tier 2 last week it happened where there was a driver who crossed the white line twice, actually. So you got to be careful to not do that at Monaco.
Yeah.
And even if you're Leon Minor, too, because he made 7 pit stops yesterday, it might be something you make at Monaco. Lap car passes J&T.
This is, I wonder, yeah, I'll say, I wonder if McLaren will be able to score points today, but yeah, they should quite comfortably, depending if Vodka can,
oh, yeah.
I think, yeah, Vodka, if things go normally now for the end of the race, he should definitely get a top 5 finish. But still, yet again, Ferrari, driver's seat for the constructors this race, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're letting everyone else make the mistakes. Lewis Piper's still, he's in the net lead, technically, or close to being in the net lead with JTK's penalty, so we can't forget about that either. He's not that far off it. What is it? Yeah, just under a second. Sorry.
I mean, George, you mentioned, by the way, J&T for a bit ago, or at least the medium soft thought. He's on 16-lap mediums. That's big. Oh, yellow flag. That's an incident.
I believe it was again a back marker letting him back marker going off track to let someone pass.
Ikazuchi, that was, yep. You're just saying with J&T, though, or I was saying with J&T, and you were saying with the strategy, George, medium soft. Does J&T Gaming, or now J&T, in his first PC race, dare pull it off?
Oh, he's out.
Oh!
Oh, Vodka's disqualified!
VSC!
Vodka's disqualified!
And Vodka's been disqualified!
Oh no! Drama! Ferrari Academy Masterclass! Oh no! I just say that J&T will rip his front wheel off, and as a result, because it means you can't serve a drive-through under safety car, that means that therefore Vodka is disqualified. That is a risky take. I leave it so long like I expect. That's so unfortunate for him.
Wow. Yeah. VSC deployed for the 3rd time this race. Bulgogi is into the pit lane.
An advantage back to Ferrari, though. Well, I mean, Lewis Piper.
Yes.
Maybe not Josh quite yet. It's not a full course. But advantage Ferrari.
But still. What, this is 33 points right now compared to Red Bull maybe 25? Yeah. Very, very big. He was the one who was challenging JTK.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How, like, in the space of
16 Fs.
The span of 5 laps, you can go from leading the race comfortably to then P2 to disqualified. Or P2 looking like P6, really, P5. To
we're gonna make sure no one gets a drive-through this time. We're gonna keep our eye on it.
Amazing. That is Monaco for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it is. DRS enabled. Nobody gets a drive-through this time under that VSC. 12 cars remaining, but I'll tell you this right now, George. Some of these teams need to win out big in the Constructors' Championship, and we don't give them enough attention. The bottom 3 spots, Sauber, 8th, 14 points. Haas, 13 points. Williams, 6 points. Lennon runs 8th. Ikazuchi is 11th. A lap down, but still could get points. And Robin is 12th. Also a lap down, but there's 6 cars out of this race. We're only halfway. Tier 1 saw 16 Fs here, I believe it was. Maybe more. I think it was 7. But that's how Monaco is. You can still get points. You can still be in it even if you've had a bad race.
Can Bulgogi cause even more upset for the McLaren Academy or Alpine Academy? Looking very racing at the back of Kipple. Is he going to go for anything? He is TP of Red Bull. Oh, Kipple was right. Oh, big slide. Bulgogi through. Even more upset for McLaren.
The door was wide open. He took advantage, up to 9th. Now he's got an 8th place to attack. Let's see if everybody's pitted. That's the one thing I have yet to check. Just Lennon, maybe gonna need to pit, but he's already pitted anyway. He just might need to pit if there's a risk of a puncture, which I doubt, but you never know. Vodka leaves the session, and he really had a good qualifying, George. It was gonna be maybe his win. Robin is out.
Safety car. Oh, no, I think because he's a back marker, it doesn't really qualify as a safety car.
11 runners left. 2 Ferrari Academy cars out. 2 Merc Academy cars out. See Davies penalty. That's big. That's for 5th place. Just remember, Josh and Blonde are battling right now for the podium. Yes, we got 7 runners out. Then no one from the same team, but there are people from the same academy out.
After looking in the driver's chart, there's quite a few people complaining about Goggy. Some say JT was saying he's driving very slowly. Other people saying that he's braking very early. I wonder if he's playing games.
It's Monaco. It's Monaco. You got to brake early. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to hit the wall. I mean, play it careful.
As long as he's not doing it stupidly slowly, I mean, you can't complain. Right. It's Monaco. Yeah, it might be on one tire. He might even have damage, but he has got damage. He's missing front left. So yeah, he's more than entitled to go as fast as he feels fit. And if you can't get past him, then I'm sorry, brother. If you can't get past the car with wing damage, what are you doing?
He's just staying behind Lennon now, trying to get by. We've got only 5 drivers left in this race of the 11 without a penalty. And Ikazuchi, who's running 11th, is probably loving what he sees with the battling in front. He's probably saying, give me another DNF. I'll get points then if I stay in this race. Remember, in RPL, back in Jeddah, and this has happened so many times in Tier 2, even in Singapore multiple times, where there has been less than 10 finishers, you have to finish the race, I believe, under RPL rules in order to score points. So if I finish 10th here and I DNF, I don't get points. That's what happened to Gagi back in the Jeddah race in Tier 1. That's the race he would have scored his first points in Tier 1. But he didn't. He DNF'd.
JTK has stretched his legs a bit now. Got a healthy 1.6 second lead. Net 1.6 second lead now over Lewis Piper. Starting to sort of leave nothing to chance now. Josh, 12 seconds behind his teammate in a bit of a battle with Blonde, maybe. Apart from that, and Blue Gocky and Lennon, it's all pretty spaced out, I want to say, yeah.
Let's give us time to talk about a few things. Yellow flag.
It's if it's each getting out of the way.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Lennon hit the wall. Blue Gocky goes inside of him. And this is the good thing about the ghosting system. You're not unghosted the entire time. So Gocky can just go through him when he made the mistake. And this game's ghosting system allowed Gocky to go through and take 8th place over. Once again, he'll have Jordan to get up in front, who has 6 seconds now of penalties. I was just going to say, George, we got all the races this weekend to continue. You're coordinator of F2. We race at Vegas tomorrow. Only the 2nd time F2's race there. I think only like maybe the 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th time any tier of RPL has raced there as well. Baku for F1, there was a little change there because of Spain.
Yep.
We put Baku in. Last minute decision there.
But
glitched,
the 2 glitches. The glitch, second to last corner, yeah. Not worth the risk. It's not.
And Tier 3's at China.
It's not worth like the effort everyone puts into practice and set it all up just to have a terrible glitched race. So yeah, I think Luke and Jack.
Kipu had that happen here in Tier 2 when we were on there.
Yeah, Luke and Jack made the decision pretty early on in the week just to give everyone the best chance to practice. Blonde is right. What's happened to Blonde? He's not got a wing, I don't think. Something's happened there. Oh no, he has got a wing. Sorry, you couldn't see it. Missing his end plate there.
Yeah.
Something's happened there. Maybe he's clipped the wall, maybe, but I feel like if he clipped the wall, he would be out of the race, just like we saw to JNT. Very interesting.
And
he should come out in front of Fusion. No, he won't actually. Would he come out in front of Goggy? The other change his wing, wouldn't he?
We'll watch the battle. Yeah, fair point.
But again,
I will say this does throw it in Ferrari's favor. No pressure for Josh or Lewis Piper. George, they have no reason to DNF or lose any places now.
Well,
no reason at all.
This gives Josh the free reign to pit for fastest lap, which is again an extra point towards the championship. As he has got missing his front end plate. A lot of people here missing front end plates. Very
Who's missing their end plate? Josh?
Yeah, Josh in the Ferrari. Yeah, and Lewis Piper.
Blonde out of the pit lane. And behind these guys.
That's why JTK is so much quicker than Lewis Piper, because he's missing his front end plate.
Yeah. But you can just cruise home at this point. I don't think you could really go for fastest lap if you're Josh, because it takes, what, good 4 or 5 seconds to change a wing in the pit lane. 4 or 5 seconds extra. So you take the second, third place and go with it, because this is 33 points for Ferrari as a team. I'm going to check out his fastest lap because it can get stolen from JTK if he does have it. It was Vodka who had it. The Williams of Lennon just hit the wall. But with that being said, that's 25 points versus 33. And Fusion has been overtaken for 5th by RPL Jordan. So, yeah, 33 versus 25. It brings the gap down to what? Maybe 40? 40 points maybe? So, although that's not a lot, if Red Bull have another bad race this time with both cars, that's crucial.
Yeah, in terms of constructors, that's not a big gap whatsoever.
Whoa! Unorthodox place for Blonde to make the overtake, but he's threw up in a 9th once again. Sorry, you were saying?
Yes, so yeah, 40 points in terms of constructors, that's not a lot at all. It can be such big point swings in constructors, I wouldn't rule them out whatsoever. We've seen it today, how quickly academies can crumble in the space of one race. So as one academy falls, another rises.
Yeah. V-Carb looking for a good finish with Blugagi right now, although there's the penalty. Here we go. Here up here, Lennon has to concede the place to Academy teammate Blonde, but it's a good move from Blonde to get through up into 8th. His next challenge will be Blugagi, who has damage to his car. 11 runners left in this race. Ikazuchi's just hoping for someone to bin it in the walls, and we have seen it already from a lot of guys, but only 3 VSCs brought up because of it. No full safety car in Monaco tonight. It's crazy.
I wonder how slow Goggi's going to go, if he's going to go slow at all. A lot of people have been complaining about it. He's more than entitled to do it as long as he's safe doing so. Does he need to hold up Blonde? I mean...
Here we go. Here we go. Oh! Loose. Inside. Blonde through. But Goggi tapped the wall again.
I think they both got away with that one. Maybe from Blonde, just using those new tyres to good effect there, clearing Goggi. Almost broke DRS as well. Has he broke DRS? Not quite.
No.
Close though. No. Jordan catching some Davis as well, very quickly, I'd like to add.
Yeah. I don't think they'll put pressure on Josh, but if Josh does make a mistake and breaks that wing even more, I think that's what would do it. Ikazuchi is into the pits. The driver who started out in RPL just a month ago in F2. His second Tier 2 race now, just like Josh. And Josh is doing a good job for his second Tier 2 race to be on the podium right now.
Yeah, quite, yeah.
Oh, we got Kippu. We have Kippu trying to make a move on Lennon down into the corner where Rosberg went off in real life in 2014, 10 years ago. No one went off there, but Kippu, he went ghosted. He clipped the wall right there, and it looks like Goggi has more damage, George. This is going to affect them big time. They have to get by him regardless of the penalty status.
Yeah, quite. We can see the gaps forming, you know, 6 seconds to P2, another 14 then back from P2 to P3, 20 seconds back then to P4. I think a lot of that is just down to people having wing damage and getting held up behind each other. But yeah, if I'm Josh now, he's basically got
team orders.
He's basically got the gap. Oh, someone let him around. Almost just drops the car. Yeah, if I'm Josh, I'm looking to pit now. He's almost got a comfortable gap to Jordan to pit and repair his wing, I believe. And Jordan, I think, is going to drive up to the back of him. So
yeah, you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't rule it out for Josh. I think it would be a smart move, and he could probably challenge the fastest lap as well.
It just depends on the gap with him. I think that's what it's going to depend on. Maybe Goggi moving on a braking. There was contact. He has the damage, so remember, he's going to have to brake early anyway. It's Kippu, a good mate of his, now behind him, trying to recover the lost ground from McLaren. He'll get a point anyway, regardless of the penalty. But right now, I'm sure he wants to get another place here, getting by Blugagi, who has damage. And if Blugagi can finish this race with that damage, basically, it looks like a dirt track car with the way it is. That'd be great. That's what Monaco is like, though. Dirt track cars with the damage.
Yeah, again, it just shows how crucial track position is. Slower car with basically no front wing, and he's still keeping behind Kippu. Kippu's not a slow driver either, I'd like to add. It's not as if he's in a car he shouldn't deserve to be in. Is Kippu's looking to go for it? Kippu's a very, very...
Kippu's got damage too.
He's getting a bit impatient now, it may seem, which is fair enough. What could Lennon do though? Can Lennon add fuel to the fire maybe? Doesn't look like it. It just seemed though that just Goggi is slow the whole lap. However, out of the corners he needs to quick out of that generate overtaking. overtaking potential.
Whoa!
He gets it done.
He tried to go for the send. He's on the inside now. They bang wheels. Here we go. This is the spot someone DNF'd earlier in this race, and they make it out alive. Kipu is ahead. Great racecraft from the pair of them.
Yeah, great. Oh, he shoved it down. All that hard work is going to be undone.
We're going to see side-by-side hairpin.
No.
We've seen collisions here before. Lewis Piper's in, but they keep it straight. That was great.
Entry from Lewis Piper, fresh set of mediums and a fixed wing. He should drive up to the back of Josh. I wonder if Josh will fight it. That could be interesting. I mean, hopefully you'd think not.
Lennon!
Oh no!
Racing the wrong way.
Oh no!
They'll get lapped.
Oh,
these guys are waiting to get lapped anyway. Kipu involved too. Kipu, that's big. Gagi. Now, basically, regardless of any damage to these guys, Gagi has been handed a big gap. Remember, Kipu has damage, Gagi has damage, and you might want to check now, George, if Lennon does. But
JTK can pit now. Crucially,
yeah.
Lewis Piper pitting means JTK can pit. Is he going to dive into the pits? No, he's not. It's a free pit stop. I wonder. He doesn't need to pit though. I mean, I don't say he does it. I don't think he does. I don't think he should. No, I mean, yeah. All he would do, to be fair, is just run the risk of, a safety car then being, having that closeness. He's got that luxury where he can just drive his own race now. There's no harm in it.
Battle for fifth now, George.
Crucially, you have to think about the championship as well. He is, I mean, even if he finishes the race, I believe he is champion.
Yep.
But I think, yeah, Monaco, anything can happen, but he doesn't need to take the risk.
By the way, last time we were here in Monaco in Season 9, the only other time for Tier 2, as Lennon pits, we had 10 finishers, excuse me. We had only 6 cars finish on the lead lap, and here we go. Blonde trying to make the move.
Oh no.
And that is crucial. Fusion lags out, Blonde through. Fusion, his AI pits. That'll give Blue Gagi a place. Now Blonde and C. Davies. We see more Merc Academy team orders. First it was C. Davies and Jordan, and then C. Davies lets Blonde go. George, I was just going to say, back in the Season 9 race here, the gap for the win was 21 seconds. Since the start of F123, we've not seen a gap go that high in Tier 3 really early at all. And JTK, if we're correct, big wiggle behind. If we're correct, I don't think he has any damage. You said Josh did. JTK doesn't.
Yellow,
and Josh does, so.
Yeah, I mean, again,
that's big for the gap.
Josh has got basically a pit up to Jordan. I think it's the gap. Jordan what the gap down. The gap is too big though for Jordan to make any difference in it. But yeah, Lewis Piper should get Josh back pretty quickly. As he takes fastest lap.
I don't have fusion. I thought I did. I thought I had it.
I've pinged him a few invites already, didn't I?
Awesome. Lewis Piper sets the fastest lap, and that's an extra point Ferrari will gladly take. You were talking about the constructors fight. That's now 25 versus 34 points, George. And you know what? Oh! JTK, the leader!
Oh no!
Off! Ow! And although the leader is out of this race, he raced here in RPL for the first time 5 seasons ago on this round. And now he'll still be the champion regardless of it, but this will be a weird way to do it. Josh is going to go by and inherit the race lead. The new Tier 2 champion is going to celebrate it in the garage.
The little Raikkonen, he's going to walk to his yacht and celebrate in style. He's done it on purpose. He can't be asked to race anymore. He's won the championship. He doesn't need this win. Crucially, though, Red Bull scoring no points, and it looks like Ferrari might be on for a 1-2. Josh needs to pit, because Jordan's going to be on his ass. He needs to pit. He doesn't pit. How's this going to play out? That's a bit risky. I don't like that, I'll be honest. Lewis Piper, the driving seat for the win. How's it going to play out, though? Josh had a free pit stop. Lewis was going to get him anyway. Does Josh want this race win, I wonder? Is that what he's thinking about?
Oh, yeah.
Is he thinking that bollocks to the constructors, I'm here for myself, I want to win Monaco? I wonder. This race
the VSC is about to end very soon here. It's not been upgraded to a full safety car. We'll have 10 runners finish this race. But I just want to give a small rundown on JTK. I think he's going to be our first Dutch champion. DRS is enabled. We'll see a move at Fusion and Gagi. We'll cover this first. Side by side there. That's so tough to do. And they're going to go for it again. Fusion around. That's damage. Gagi's had to cut the corner. And that's another Monaco incident to add to the list. But as I was saying, Josh and here to lead. We'll talk about JTK now. It has been 552 days since he joined the league. His first race came back at F2 Miami. And then his first Tier 2 race back in Season 8 Singapore. And this one on the streets of Monaco 5 seasons later. It's been 5 seasons since his first race. 4 seasons since his first podium. 3 seasons since his first win and pole, and now tonight, although he's going to do it in the garage area, George, JTK is the new Tier 2 champion.
Yeah, I think Cryptic may be the first Dutch Tier 2 champion.
Is he Polish?
He's Dutch, isn't he? I swear he's Dutch.
He must be a fake Polish then, but it says he's Polish.
Oh. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I swear he's Dutch, but...
anyway, you were saying?
I don't know why I was saying, I'll be honest. Yeah, Lewis Piper's catching Josh quite quickly. You would think on paper it would be an easy pass. We've seen how easy Blonde has made it with the traction. Wonder if Josh will fight it. I think Josh could fight it and keep the win, but he'd have to get his elbows out of doing so. And does he want to do that? Ferrari are in a perfect position to take out a huge chunk on both McLaren and Red Bull. Perfect race with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Are they going to throw it away, though? Is Josh going to get greedy? Is Lewis going to get greedy?
Yeah, I think the last time, George, we saw double Red Bull DNF as we got Fusion and Gaggi at it again. I think the last time we saw double Red Bull DNF was back at France when Grandpa was contending for the title. And Gaggi has just been punted into the wall by Fusion and our leaders trade spots.
Josh lets pass Lewis for the lead.
Team orders, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Fair enough from Josh. You've got to respect it. Masterclass here from Ferrari putting on a display at Monaco.
Yeah. Max points now with the fastest lap, is that right?
Yeah, that would be maximum points.
If my controller wants to work, yeah. There
Mercedes coming in touch as well with a 3-4, and that's good for their championship as well.
Just remember, you want to get points, you need to finish this race. Blue Gaggi's got another penalty to his name. And he might be getting Fusion a penalty after what just happened there. Fusion hit him into turn 3 right there. Was Gaggi a little slow? Maybe, but it's Monaco. You gotta not hit the car in front of you. It's the trailing car.
I think I'm gonna watch his battle for P3 because Blonde and Jordan are Blonde is much quicker than Jordan. I wonder if Jordan will fight it as well. He's got a penalty. Doesn't you would think logically he wouldn't. It's his teammate. His teammate is gonna beat him anyway. Does he want on-track honours though? He's not. He's letting him pass again. Fair enough. A bit boring, but from both Ferrari and Mercedes, however, you literally can't argue with it whatsoever. It's just fair enough. Like it's Monaco, anything can happen. So we went for a boring race now into the end.
But there's a lot of things to talk about now, though. I mean, the Constructors' Championship, it's close. You got to finish this race now. We got all 10 cars still left in this race, and they need points. Sauber will take the points. Williams will take the points. Haas will. There's a lot of things to talk about. And Mercedes, they really are realistically out of this fight. But now after Red Bull's day, McLaren's day, they're going to put this right into their hands as well. Although we speak about Ferrari, Mercedes are 66 points back. This is a 3-4 for them, and they would gladly take 27 points regardless of who's in front of the other, as Blonde did get the move done. But George, JTK, we talk about his time here in RPL, Season 8, Tier 2, made his debut then at Round 8. Season 9, he got his first podium in Monza. I believe that was also Round 8 or Round 9, something like that. Season 10, he watched his teammate Hunted win the championship. And then in Season 11 is when he finally broke through, waiting for that first win, waiting for that first pole, finally got it. He actually got his first pole at his home Grand Prix, I believe. He's left the session as we talk about him. And then last season, the first time he got himself in championship contention, he lost out to J&T, who he's DNF'd with, funny enough. And it's safe to say, being the champion now, the first time he's champion, he's definitely learned, and he deserves it this season. Really the only time he's not finished the race this season, actually, too, because he only finished off the podium in Austria. Now he's not finished the race for the first time this season, but he does deserve the title, no doubt about it. That's why he's moving to Tier 1 after this season.
Yeah, when he joined RPL, he was a bit of a slow burner, to be fair to him. It took him a while to sort of get on terms with RPL as a whole. It was a long time overdue, I would say, for his first win.
Yeah.
However, since he's got his first win, he hasn't really looked back since. He's been absolutely flying. And it seems like this season, the only thing that can stop him is himself.
Yeah.
He's been pretty much the only driver in contention for the championship all season. And then there's been talks about John. He's had external factors contributing towards his misfortune. However, at the end of the day, the person crossing the line to score the most points has been JTK, and that's why he's champion.
And something else to mention as well, we don't talk about it a lot. I know you had beef with his brother, George, but Make PK, I want to talk about him in just a moment. Kipu now on the outside of Blue Goggy is getting pinched, and I don't think he wants to go for that. These two are about to get lapped, but I don't think they want to crash in the process either. No. This will end up like the Season 9 race, though, where 6 cars do finish. There was contact, a little bit of touching. Kipu on the inside. Does he rear lock it and stay ahead this time? He does. He is ahead. I was just going to say, George, about Make PK, you know, after JTK joined, his brother chose to join along with him. And yeah, he decided to join in with them. And Make PK wasn't the cleanest of drivers. He got another chance to join after his 20 race ban he had, but he left eventually with that, and then decided that he probably wasn't going to come back. Kipu gets a penalty. I think the admin team decided that.
How can one brother be so good and one brother be so bad?
Oh, Josh, that's not going to matter. But I will say this, though, George. I think it's a bit of a nice feeling family-wise, though. Although one brother didn't get to succeed in RPL, the other did. I think that's a very fairy tale type of story that they'll get to say in the end for themselves when looking back on things here in RPL.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like, yeah, like the Verstappen. His dad's ass, but Max is incredible.
It's true.
No discredit to make, but he is a bit of a loose cannon. JTK, though, is unbelievable in tier 2 so far this season. Yeah, it's maybe Make needs a third chance. I doubt he'll get it, I'll be honest. I think he's had plenty of chances as it is. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, I think JTK got 90% of racing talent. And poor Make got the rest. Let's say in that family.
Yep, I will say we have now about to be 2 laps remaining. You see the tires everyone's on the top right of our screen. We'll keep it that way. I don't really think anyone is in risk of a puncture besides anyone on mediums that have gone over 15 laps, but even then, I doubt there's a chance for one. We're going to go through the field here quickly with 2 laps remaining. No battles besides Lennon and Goggy. We'll go backwards then. Goggy in the wall. Lennon overtakes. So Ikazuchi here, second start for him into the pit lane. Maybe going to steal fastest lap. But if he finishes this race, he gets a point for Sauber. They would gladly love that around the streets of Monaco the day everyone else has had. Blue Goggy damage to his car. He's really just limping it out to the finish here. And he's in the wall. And he's not out. But if he could finish this race, he'll get 2 points. He would gladly love that. But I must say, he does deserve a Red Bull seat here to maybe have a one or 2 races more to finish out the season. He's not done too bad, but today, just limping it around now with damage. Lennon did really great in Tier 3. He's won a Tier 2 race before. Our first FE winner now as of the shenanigans with disqualifying every account Be Good had. Kipu from McLaren, not the best AO they would have had, but he'll finish 7th from the looks of things. I just think he's got 2 more races to prove himself, and then we'll see. There's rumors maybe of him going to Ferrari. We'll see if that happens. They have drivers to decide. Lyrical Fusion is damaged, but he is going to get some good points for Haas. They will overtake Sauber for 8th and might be contending for 7th later. We'll see. We'll talk about that after. Davies 5th, got another penalty, I believe, not too long ago. He's had a quiet race, let teammates go, played the teammate game. Mercedes will love that. They got the points they need in the constructors if they could just finish. Jordan, I think really since came to Tier 2, besides his Aston race, Blonde with a penalty. Besides his Aston race in Bahrain, it's really not been the way he would have wanted it. But won a Tier 3 race. He'll be here to finish 4th tonight. And Blonde, 3rd place right now, having a chance to get on the podium for the 2nd time ever at Monaco. And then the 2 Ferraris, George. I'll have you talk about them before we get to Sector 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've been unstoppable with this race, but they've just been the epitome of keep your nose clean and just make sure you finish the race. They haven't been the fastest. They weren't fastest in quality. They haven't been fastest in the race. But at the end of the day, they're the ones who are crossing the line. Vodka's got DSQ'd and JTK is Ayrton Senna. He crashed out on his own with a massive lead. So it just proves that being fast doesn't mean you're good. Consistency is key as Lewis Piper enters the last sector now.
All right. Lewis Piper This man wins under the most rare circumstances possible. He passed 2 champions of Tier 1 back in F1 and ended up winning Monza in an Alpine. And the leader tonight DNF'd, and he wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Lewis Piper gets his name onto the illustrious list of Monaco Grand Prix winners. Ferrari needed this. 1-2. Josh, his first podium in F1 cars. It's his second start in Tier 2, and he's done it. Ferrari are 1-2. They needed this badly. Lewis Piper, it's only his second win across all tiers. He's not a one-win wonder anymore. And Josh on the podium in 2 different tiers now. 6th or 10th across the line, we'll talk about them. But Blonde, for the second time in Monaco, on the podium. He needed that, and so did Mercedes. Jordan, 4th. Davies will be 5th. Fusion, 6th. Kipu, 7th. McLaren at least got some points out of that. Haas got somewhat Fusion. I believe that's his best result with Haas as a team. Lennon gets 8th for Williams. They're last of the constructors. Maybe going to fight it out with Sauber now because of that. Gaggi's cars crashed past the line. It was not his day. And Ikazuchi gets points, being a lap down or 2.
When you get Ikazuchi, we always say the reason why you get bans or penalties for retiring in the pits is because anything can happen.
Don't give up.
And Ikazuchi is the epitome of that. Almost, a lap, nearly 2 laps down, I believe. Picking up P10, picking up points. That's why you stay to the end, folks. Anything can happen at Monaco, and especially in Tier 2.
JTK becomes the 9th different Tier 2 champion. He is the Season 13 Tier 2 champion. 5 seasons after the round he started at. In Tier 2, he will become the brand new champion. 5 seasons after his first Tier 2 start. 4 seasons after his first podium. 3 after his teammate went on to win the championship. 2 after his first win in pole. And a season later after contending for the championship and coming up just short. He clearly learned from that one. We spray the champagne on the top step and the second and third step of the podium. Ferrari 1-2, Merc 3-4, Lewis Piper. I mean, you may as well give it to him for winning in the most unusual ways in RPL. He had 2 champions. I didn't get results, by the way. You'll have to screenshot it for me. We lost 11th through 18th, or 17th, excuse me, 17 Fs. I stayed on the podium too long, but with that being said, this man really does win under the most random circumstances, George. He beat 2 Tier 1 champions in an Alpine to win at Monza for the first time late in the race. And tonight, the leader crashed, and he took advantage and won. He was 3rd after it. The 2 leaders technically crashed. Vodka at the VSC, his race came crashing down, and JTK's race came crashing down after he hit the wall. But he is the new champion, so we'll talk to him after we talk to Lewis Piper.
Yippee.
Yeah, I didn't get results. I stayed on too long, so hopefully you got everything there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the I've got every result actually, so DNF, so I'll post them quickly.
Lewis Piper is the Monaco Grand Prix winner. Can you believe that? Monaco Grand Prix winner for Lewis Piper. Ferrari 1-2. I don't know if any team has ever had a 1-2 here. I think Ferrari won last time at Bonky, but you and Owen were 2 and 3. So I'll have to see across any tiers if we had a 1-2 or not here. We've had many famous moments at the circuit. Biggest Tier 1 gap, Leon's F2 win. Lots to talk about, for sure.
Leon won an F2 race.
Yes, he did. It was at this circuit.
This is why he's the GOAT.
Yeah, if Lewis Piper can get in for an interview, that'd be great. I'm going to get him in before we get JTK in. Alright, sounds good. JTK says he'll be there in about 8 minutes. Just seeing with Lewis Piper if he can get into our VSC. I don't think he has Xbox app. Just ping him one more time. I'm a pass if that's alright. Alright. So JTK said it'll be 8 minutes. George, we didn't get to do this yesterday for Tier 3. Congratulations, first off, on being the new Tier 3 champion. Your season, filled with wins, some struggles at some point to start off at least, and controversy throughout in some ways. But you finished top 3 in the championship 5 different times prior before coming champion. It's safe to say, just like you said about JTK and now about yourself, it was worth the wait. Although this is tier 2, we didn't get to do a tier 3 championship interview. For those of you just clicking on now, I see some did. But walk me through your season, George, and how does it feel to finally win the championship?
I mean, it's nice to finally win a championship. It's kind of Mickey Mouse. I still feel like I'm owed a tier 2 championship, or I should um I think my goal in RPL is still to win a tier 2 championship. I've come so close so many times. So I guess it's nice to finally sort of feel like I've got that first title under my belt. Although yeah, a lot of people say it's Mickey Mouse and whatever should have been banned. But no, it's nice to finally do it on my terms. Prove the haters wrong. No, I'm joking. That's so cringe. But no, yeah, it's nice to finally win one. Yeah.
Sounds like some dainty Gagi would say. But no, I will say, yeah, you mentioned it maybe being Mickey Mouse and wanting a tier 2 championship. I know the loophole you had going through at tier 3 and just dominating some of these races. I know at the end you spoke about how you wanted to get out of tier 3 or just how it felt. It felt wrong in some ways to, I guess, to be dominating these races and still in this tier, maybe a tier you maybe could say, and arguably so, when you didn't belong in. But how did yesterday's race feel with wrapping up the title? I know you were mentioning it being aggressive with you and actually getting to come through the field. Did that feel more rewarding than winning these races constantly, 5 in a row to be exact?
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. Doing the Mexico race yesterday, I was more concerned about keeping my winning streak going than I was winning the title. I think I cared more about that. But no, for certain, I was saying to Jack whilst I was doing the race that like when that safety car came out and I had to pit for the mediums, that it was nice that I had to, if I was going to win the race, I had to earn it. So it was for certain nice that. I think it also proved as well that when you put the right people in the right cars, I'm certainly not the fastest or most dominant. It's just the way it's been throughout the season. Mexico is a natural track for great racing as well because it's such long straights. But no, I think I'd stand by how I raced. I think I got my elbows out, which I haven't done all season. I've been very fair and clean all season. I know I don't mean to call him out. Invade's been great all season. There's been a few times where he's been very close with me. At Baku, he was all put me in the wall, and Jeddah, he got a penalty for doing so. So in that sense, I've been very relaxed and sort of, I've not treated him the same way. But I think Mexico, I wanted to sort of, I wanted to get my elbows out. I wanted to prove that, I can win races up with racecraft and not just, by doing DRS overtakes. And yeah, I stand by my actions, stand by my racecraft. If people don't like it, we'll see what the stewards say. But yeah, at the end of the day, I wrapped up the title, maybe even looking at a race win.
And one more question for you, and then I'm actually going to... Lewis Piper said he won't do an interview, but JNT said he wouldn't mind on his behalf, so we'll ask him a question before we get to JTK, our champion. But George, you battled Invade up until that point to win your first title in Tier 3. I'm sure you're glad to win that first title. I know it feels, a bit sympathetic from your end, and although it was deserved in most ways at least. What do you have to say about your battle with Invade and even others throughout the season? How did you kind of look at that and just to get how you've got here to win the championship as well?
At the start of the season, points-wise, Owen was always closer. However, I always valued Invade as more of a rival because Owen was always a bit of a loose cannon. I always knew Invade was more consistent, and I knew in the long run he'd be more of a challenge. But I think at the start of the season, I wasn't the fastest driver. I didn't have much momentum, and then as I got one or two wins under my belt, I was more confident. But yeah, I think I'll be honest. Throughout the season, as the season progressed, once I got a 20-point plus lead, there was no looking back from me. I knew what I had to do. I got the momentum, I got the confidence. I knew Invade, was on the back foot, and I knew that he knew he had to beat me. So yeah, I mean, I know we say Invade was my rival, but I didn't value anyone as a rival. I just all I knew is that everyone's a rival. I've got to beat everyone.
Yeah,
Anything but a win isn't good enough, sort of thing. So
I agree.
yeah, on paper, Invader was the rival, but in my opinion, no one was, or everyone was.
Well, once again, congratulations on the championship, and I hope wherever you go, whether it's tier 2 next, first tier 1 before tier 2, actually, I've heard, I hope that does end up going well. We've got J&T Gaming, or J&T, the previous Ferrari TP in the VC currently. We're going to talk to him about Lewis Piper, who has won the race, because Lewis Piper is not here. We'll talk to J&T about Lewis Piper before, because in fact, when Lewis Piper did come over to Ferrari, it was J&T, I believe, who got him over into the team as the TP at the time. So I'll ask a question, and I'll have you ask a question, one question after George. But J&T, Lewis Piper has broke through and won for Ferrari. It's his second win across all tiers, first in tier 2. You were part of the reason he came over to Ferrari and ended up being a part of this team as a reserve. First, it was with Kick Sauber, then the main car of Ferrari, and he took advantage of others' misfortunes today. How badly did you guys need this for the Constructors' Championship, and how proud are you of him as now the Academy assistant?
Oh my god, it's been a long time coming. Let me tell you, these last few races, with me and Polo and whoever else in the car, hasn't gone very well. I don't think we've gotten points for the last 2 races or something. It's just, we needed this a lot. It started with a 1-2 finish, I think, in Bahrain, or 2 podiums. It started so well on all the tiers and just, it fell apart, and now we got something else to show for it now. And that makes me pretty happy before I go and leave, that we at least did something else.
George, do you have any questions for J&T on Lewis Piper's behalf?
Well, I mean, the question I would give Lewis Piper is, what was your thoughts on JTK crash? I guess we can transfer that over to you as well. As I believe you're so one of the Kansas or co-DP or something. What was your thoughts? Obviously, you know that the Constructors is in a bit of a dire situation and you need the big race here. What was your thoughts when you saw, first of all, was it Vodka, the McLaren crash out or get disqualified, and then the Red Bull of JTK? Yeah, what was your thoughts? Were you excited?
Me?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a very interesting race, I'd say. First of all, for Vodka, I'm very frustrated for him, obviously, because he was put in a position where he couldn't do anything. And my heart goes out to him, because I think he would have been in position to take the win instead of Lewis. And, it's stupid to get screwed over by the game like that. As for JTK, the same thing happened to him that happened to me. He didn't hit a wall, but the game said he did, and he took his tire off, which is just great. This race. It was interesting, from a racing perspective and a viewing perspective. I can't say I was bored. So maybe keep it on the calendar for next season.
Interesting thoughts there, George.
Yeah, quite.
Tier coordinator. I don't know if you have any say, but I mean, I know the calendars for next season are being in the works. So that is an interesting thought.
Yeah.
From J&T on Lewis Piper's behalf. Yep. Thank you, by the way, J&T, and give us from me and George, congrats to Lewis Piper. Before we go to JTK, George, who would you say is the driver of the day from that race?
Lewis Piper. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, there you go.
I think both Mercedes drove very well.
Josh wins my heart though for letting him go.
Yeah, Josh did well, but
Not fighting it.
I mean,
He wins my heart, not my driver of the day though.
truthfully, if you're my honest thoughts, I don't think there was any standout drivers. I think,
Yeah.
He
had Fusion though at some points he was doing good. I can give him credit. I don't know if he really will keep P6 or not after the incident with Gagi, but
I think as far as
he's the only one closest.
Of all the finishers, I think all of them at some point had wing damage.
Yeah.
But I think, as I said, during the last laps, that when it came down to it, both Ferraris crossed the line first and second. They kept their noses clean. Lewis Piper did it by almost 10 seconds, I believe, with that extra pit stop. So I think, it has to go to Lewis Piper. Drove very well.
Yeah, I would say Lewis Piper, driver of the day. That's for sure. I think the only closest contender you can really put is either Fusion or Lennon. They're really the only ones who put on a decent enough race with their circumstances to get there. I mean, Jordan and Blonde, they deserve credit too, but no one beats Lewis Piper being driver of the day. That man wins under the most weirdest situations possible. You have a safety car halfway through the race at Monza. You thought it would be a late race safety car. He wins an Alpine. He was the first Alpine winner in the league. I mean, he's had podiums before in the past, Piper, but yeah, he's really starting to come together. He's won now in a Ferrari. He's won an Alpine. He's won at Monaco and he's won at Monza. Two big places. You'd think it'd come the other way around. Ferrari winning on Monza, but it didn't. Our champion now, JTK. He is the Season 13 Tier 2 champion for the first time. JTK, we've glazed you enough, but I'm sure we'll hear it later on tonight. F2 Miami, your first race back in January of 2023. You did. Then you joined Tier 2 later back in Season 8 of Round 8, actually. Today was Round 8. 5 seasons later, you're the champion. 4 seasons later from your podium, you're the champion. 3 seasons earlier, by the way, from being the champion now. You watched your teammate win the title 2 seasons prior. You got your first win in pole. And then just last season, you were in championship contention for the first time and missed out. And you learned your lesson. You changed a lot of things. You even changed some assists. You changed, well, it's a brand new game as well. But you have broke through and won the title. First off, congrats. But how does it feel?
It feels amazing. It was a lot of work. I really practiced a lot to drive without the ABS to get that extra bit of pace, extra bit of consistency, it helped tremendously. So yeah, it's great to finally win it with 2 rounds to spare as well. Even if I put the car on the wall, it didn't matter in the end. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Well, I have to ask about your season before George can get any questions in. I was going to say how you've only been off the podium today and Austria, the second race after you changed your settings with ABS, as you mentioned, and today where you crashed from the lead. You didn't even need to push, and you did, but that's how much you want to go the extra edge and push it. That's the kind of driver you are. It does sound familiar being Dutch in your DNA as a Red Bull driver, but I have to mention this season, after last season, you came up just short to J&T. We just spoke to him on Lewis Piper's behalf. I want to know what changed from obviously growing as much as you have. You went from your first race to your first podium to watching your teammate win the championship over you. It was obviously probably tough to watch. You got your first win in pole. Then he was probably wondering, when's the championship going to come? And you missed out on it in the second half mainly of last season. And now you've bounced back, recovered, won it. What went into that? What, besides obviously the changes you mentioned having to make, I guess, what did you learn? Because you gone from your first race to your first podium to your first pole and win, and then now the championship. What did it need to get to this point? And I'm sure it does feel good actually breaking through after watching your teammate win it and watching your rival win it.
Mostly it was consistency. I really wanted to prove myself back then. I really wanted to show that I could fight for the title, that I could be the #1 teammate, that I could basically do it all. I just kept trying to prove myself. And I kept putting myself in dumb positions, and I kind of gave up on that, and I just decided to have fun again, and it made me more consistent. By having fun, it made me quicker and also more consistent, and that's exactly what I needed. There were no more dumb mistakes by losing focus, like in Canada last season when I forgot a setup or something like that. It just didn't really happen anymore, except for today.
Even 2 seasons prior in Canada, crashing in the wet.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I was
lost your seat, if you remember that.
Back then. Yeah, I did. I really had to prove myself. I didn't know what the weather was gonna do, and I was on the dry setup in the wet. I got absolutely dusted off the line, and well, everyone just kind of ran away after I spun. Messed with my head, and I spun even more times. So those kind of things, they just don't really happen anymore. So that's quite good to think back about. See how much I've progressed.
One last question. I know there's still the Constructors' Championship to fight on. That will be a big talking point, especially after you guys' double DNF tonight. But also, speaking of championships, your championship rival throughout the season, John, he missed 3 races, and his first 2 races were both comeback drives. He was on the back foot anyway in this title race, but he's missed 3 races due to whether it be a power connection issue, wheel issue, whatever it may be. He was your rival throughout the season, and it looked like he was going to bring this down to the final race after everything that happened at the start with even missing a race. How the 2 comeback drives that he had to pull off in the first 2 races, those were a few things that ended up changing this championship for sure before he missed the 2 races he has recently. I just want from you, on your thoughts on this constructors race to still wrap up. You got 2 more races, but also your rival, John. Do you have any words on him in terms of this championship fight? And I guess 3 questions in one. Lastly, how do you feel about going up to Tier 1 too?
I am enthusiastic to go to Tier 1.
That's a lie.
Kind of excited to see
I'm kidding.
what will happen, where I'll be, etc. And for my rival, John, it kind of sucks. I want it this way. I think if he didn't miss those 2 races, and if he didn't have the trouble at the start of the season, I actually would have been on the back foot, and I would have been trying to catch up. Because John is an incredibly quick driver, and it kind of sucks to win it in this way. Because I really wanted to fight for it, and we both would have deserved the title. But still happy I won, of course. And yeah, I'll see what I can do in Tier 1. See if I can get some points.
And the constructors fight, by the way, you got 2 more races in Tier 2 as well to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
George, your turn. Any questions for JTK? You got to race JTK back in Season 10 when you were contending for the championship.
The only question I have really is, speaking from experience of yesterday where I won the championship myself in questionable circumstances, do you feel that your race today, obviously with your main title round with John not turning up and obviously crashing it yourself, do you feel like it is a bit of a bittersweet victory, or you're not concerned you've won the title, that's all you care about?
I did really want to win the title, of course, but it is bittersweet. I'm happy I won it, but also kind of sad about the way I won it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree, yeah. I mean, still, it
yeah, like
matter.
I said, I really wanted to fight for it, but I still won it. So
I think to be fair, you have to see it. You have to look at it as more of a credit towards how quick you've been throughout the season, that you're able to win the championship by DNFing. I think that's the main thing we have to look at, is that's how good you've been all year, more than anything. So if anything, it's better than a victory, because who else can say they won a title by crashing out of Monaco?
Yeah, I mean, it is quite cool to win the championship with DNFing, of course, but there's also quite a sad part about it. I had to backflip equip for Ryan, because I know he likes it, and now I couldn't show it, so... quite sad about that one.
Hey, show it in Texas or Brazil. We got 2 more races to go. And in fact, speaking of that, I mean, George, you might be interested in this stat, because I'm the stat geek of RPL. With that said, you have 9 poles in Tier 2. I mean, you asked me before in this week, JTK, if you can get any records. You can't really get any records of Tier 2 before leaving it, but you can get the record of having the most poles before you leave. You just need to get pole either this week or next week, and you will have the most poles in RPL Tier 2 of anybody. So that's something to go for. And maybe we can do a pole to win, a record with a backflip in it. I think that'll be special.
I will certainly try. I can't promise anything, but I will try.
I see in the same VC, Gagi has joined us, and I want to get just a small word from you, Gagi. You're the co-TP of Red Bull. I know you're muted, but you can unmute now. I was going to say how... actually, I've got him muted. I have to unmute him. I was just going to say, for Gagi's sake, he joined this team as the co-TP. He was here before, but kind of in the background, not in the role he is now managing the team. Gagi, I don't really have much to ask you, but I just want you as the co-TP of Red Bull to give just a small thought on JTK, a good friend of yours, a teammate at one point, and your driver getting the championship.
I mean, it's brilliant, because obviously George won Tier 3 championship, but now we have 2 out of 3 championships secured. Obviously, there's still a long way to go in the Tier 1 championship. But it just seems like, he's definitely deserved this by him. I remember in Canada when he crashed out, I was like, oh no, how is he in that seat? And then the way he just kind of like put the effort in, it's the way he's kind of recovered himself and just kind of like, because obviously it was a Mercedes last season and then he got back the Red Bull seat and he just kind of never looked back really. It's amazing how consistent he's been over the course of the season, and I wish him the very best in Tier 1.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he won't be in the Red Bull spot for Tier 1 at all. He won't be in a Red Bull car, but he will be going over to the Ferrari Academy. With that said, that's what happens when, champion moves up. There are some tough decisions to be made, but George, I just want to speak one more thing on the race today, and for JTK's sake, it's crazy because this league was founded by a Dutch driver, Zatsi, and I know all of us have had our fair share of good times and even bad times with Zatsi. I think it is bittersweet right before the 5-year anniversary of RPL next Saturday, in fact, to be exact. We have a Dutch driver finally get the championship. I don't think we've ever had a Dutch driver win the championship, George, and I think it is bittersweet to say the least, with that being said.
Nah, I don't think it is. Zatsi's an arsehole.
I think it's good to see.
It's glad he's gone. JTK is the new Flying Dutchman, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He's a massive
Portsmouth's back
upgrade.
too, for Tier 1.
Let's not bring the mood down with that arsehole. He's gone.
No, I
gone for
get
a
what you're
reason.
saying. I get what you're saying, but I don't want to shine light on it negatively. There are reasons he is not owner anymore, but I think it's good to see for the league, though, that there is a Dutch champion, because we have, 4 or 5 Dutch drivers in here, I think?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I mean, there's
I agree.
enough Dutch dominance in real life F1, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's no harm in seeing it in RPL as well.
No, I know, but I don't want to say anything bad about Zatsi though either. There's reasons he's not owner though too.
I do.
So. That's you. I'll let you do that.
Fuck that guy.
Nice stutter.
No, I mean, we all wouldn't be here without him. But
that's true. We have to at least give credit for that.
I'm glad that now we are here without him.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good at least. But yeah, I was gonna say, we'll have to look through and see what next season is like then for Tier 2. We still have 2 races remaining. Don't forget about that. We have Texas and Brazil. George, 2 tracks on the U.S. side of the world. Lots to look forward to. We still have a constructors fight. Mercedes, they're back in this fight. Ferrari, they're definitely back in this fight. McLaren didn't help themselves today, but they're closer now to Red Bull with Kipu's race. And Red Bull didn't score any.
I think, Brazil will be another one for a lot of carnage because it's such a close track. Kota, I think, will be a big one for track limit penalties. Those are 2 of my predictions. I reckon, calling it here now, he's in the interview as well, JTK is going to do more dominance now the pressure's off. I think he's going to be unstoppable.
Agreed.
Got nothing to lose. He obviously needs to come in clutch for the constructors title as well.
Agreed.
But I think Red Bull, even though Ferrari have got the momentum, I think Red Bull still have the point advantage, obviously. And they're still the ones to beat. The tracks do favour Red Bull as well. But I think Brazil will be another good one. And then Kota, track limits. Watch this space.
Yep, so we have a few more races to finish off this weekend. We have F2 tomorrow in Vegas. And I was just going to say to Goggy, I completely forgot about it. I'm actually going to go back in there now so everyone can hear this on stream. Goggy, you mentioned, by the way, I'm not going to have you follow up on a question. I just want you to acknowledge it. You said 2 of the 3 titles wrapped up for Red Bull, but you're at F2 TP. We have the F2. We're just speaking about the race tomorrow for F2 to finish off the weekend. Just quickly, F2, we can have Trident win the championship tomorrow, and that is your F2 team. So maybe 3 for 3 in a way there. I just wanted to get that over as we end off the stream. But F2 tomorrow in Vegas. F1 in Baku to finish off the weekend. I think I'll have you and Titan on commentary for that. That'll be a splendid lineup.
Tomorrow, yeah, we confirmed that
Yeah.
Things are gonna get offensive.
Oh boy.
No, they won't. I like Titan.
And then F2 tomorrow. I have Invade and Tadpole joining me as two in-race reporters. That'll be interesting. We've not done that in quite a bit with 2 different drivers. The last time we did that was back in Season 7 Baku of Tier 2, which almost saw Haas win the race. That's how chaotic it was. So maybe we see the chaos again tomorrow in Vegas. Tier 3, next week. China and Tier 2. We have 2 more races to finish off in Texas and Brazil to end off the Tier 2 season. Well, Ryan Searles, George Alp-Williams, your 2 commentators, will be signing off. But I just want to remind you before we end tonight, JTK, the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman at Tier 2, is the Season 13 Tier 2 champion. The 9th different one. Congrats to him. He's finally broke through and done it. He deserved it. And, well, it's a well-earned one for sure from him. And I think something everybody like to see. He's not a guy who's, as we mentioned with other people, disliked at all. He's a really liked guy around this RPL community. And as we sign off tonight, I just want to say with JTK, with him going to Tier 1, we wish him the best of luck. He's moving up. George is moving up from Tier 3. We have lots of moving up ceremonies, I guess you could say, but through league racing to have happen at the end of the season. Still a Constructors fight to go. 2 more races to go. Ryan Searles, George Alp-Williams, we're signing off. We'll see you then to wrap up the season. With that being said, F2, F1 tomorrow, if you want to catch us for them. But until next time, we're saying goodnight and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye-bye.